Hey everyone, welcome to class 65 of Kerala PSC HSA English. I am Sri Lakshmi S. Today's topic is the Indo-European family of languages from the module Linguistics, Phonetics and History of Language. A group of languages that become related to one another by virtue of their common descent from a parent language is called a family of languages. Various names have been used to designate the Indo-European family. In books written a century ago, the term Aryan was commonly employed. It has now been generally abandoned and when found today is used in a more restricted sense to designate the languages of the family located in Indian and the plateau of Iran. A more common term is Indo-Teutonic of Indo-Germanic. The Indo-Germanic being the most usual designation among German philologists. But it is open to the objection of giving undue emphasis to the Germanic languages, and the term now most widely employed is Indo-European, suggesting more clearly the geographical extent of the family. The parent tongue from which the Indo-European languages have sprung had already become divided and scattered before the dawn of history. Various people by whom these languages are spoken today have lost all memory of their former association. Consequently, we have no written record of the common Indo-European language. By a comparison of its descendants, however, it is possible to form a fair idea of it and to reconstruct with approximate accuracy its vocabulary and inflections. The surviving languages show various degrees of similarity bearing a more or less direct relationship to their geographical distribution. They accordingly fall into 9 principal groups: Indian, Iranian, Armenian, Hellenic, Albanian, Italic, Balto-Slavic, Teutonic, and Celtic. From this figure, you will be able to know the different divisions in the Indo-European languages. First one is the Indo-Iranian, which is again divided into two: Eastern Sanskrit language and languages of India. There are many, right? But the most important of these are Hindi, Bengali, Punjabi, and Marathi. Next is the Albanian, then Armenian. Next one is Balto-Slavonic. It is again divided into Bulgarian, Russian, Polish, Czech, and Serbian. Then Greek, there is modern Greek. And Italic. Italic again can be divided into Latin languages like Italian, French, Spanish, Portuguese, and Romanian. Then Celtic. Celtic is again divided into Gaelic, Irish Gaelic, Scots Gaelic, Manx, and Welsh. Then the biggest division comes the Germanic languages. Germanic can be again divided into West Germanic, North Germanic, and East Germanic. Under East Germanic comes the Gothic, and under the North Germanic comes the Scandinavian language. Next comes the West Germanic, where we will have the greatest division. We can divide it into Old Low German, that is Dutch language, and Old High German, that is German language itself, and again Anglo-African. It's Anglo-African. Then it can be again, it was, the language got evolved from Anglo-Saxon to Middle English and now Modern English. So these are the main divisions of the Indo-European family of languages. Okay, so that's all about Indo-European family of languages. Next we are moving on to modern English usage. Today, our topic is appropriate word order. Correct word order is very, very important while we write and speak. In order to get a proper meaning and sense, words should be in a proper order. In a sentence, the standard word order is subject plus verb plus object. Subject comes first, then verb, and at last object. So that's the most common word order. In the case of questions, the word order will be auxiliary verb or modal auxiliary plus subject plus verb. So auxiliary verbs can change the form, they are different forms of to be and do and have. Forms of be are am, is, are, was, were, be, been. Do, does, did. Then has, have, had, having. Modal auxiliaries will not change their form, which is can, might, ought to, will, could, may, must, should, shall, would. Next, when we add an indirect object, the order will be subject plus verb plus indirect object. Then only comes the main object. So you have to remember that indirect object comes between the verb and the object, the main object. Now, in the case of prepositional phrases, that is when we use the prepositions like to or for, then the indirect object becomes part of a prepositional phrase and the order will be subject plus verb plus object plus preposition. When there are modifiers like adverb in a sentence, you have to remember that adverbs, they usually go as close as possible to the thing it is modifying. And they are special also because they can usually be placed in more than one spot in the sentence and they will be all correct. So word order is something basic that we all should know when we learn English. So practice on your own. And that's all for today. Thank you.